Nothing scares me more than bright lights. But it also gives me the comfort of anonymity because I can't see any of you. I'm a radio personality. I mean, not a personality, I'm a radio host, so I don't really see my audience usually. So this kind of works out. So let me start my story by saying that I'm no monk that sold his Ferrari. I'm just a punk that got his BMW repossessed because I couldn't make the payment. At some point in my life, I eventually bought a caravan and began driving the world. But life has a way to put you in places, and you just have to make the best of it. I came from a very privileged background, like most of you. Lived the life only because my father was a soldier, and as an officer in the Indian Navy, we had everything going for us. We just didn't own anything, but we lived the life of a millionaire. Then, as fate would have it, I was transported into another country, America, because I was chasing the love of my life, a girl. That didn't work out, so I just stayed on. I went there to study, to become pada likha, because my father-in-law to be, the one I thought would be, needed somebody with a master's degree, and I was just a BA. So drifting is actually an art. Most people tell you vision, focus. I just like to be like the waves, like the wind, like the cloud. They're all drifting. But there's each one of them helping the other drift. Without the wind, the clouds cannot drift, or the waves cannot be. So there's merit in drifting. We all know as drifters that we're going in a direction. We just don't know where that is going to end. And therefore, we enjoy the journey. As they say, safar hi manzil hai. I didn't have a goal. I just knew in the back of my head, I'm going to be famous. Obviously, the first thing to do is to become a Bollywood actor, because that's all we think. That's all. There's no other fame other than Bollywood. So I did try my hand and went for a screen test when I was 16 in Thakur Ka Bangla out here in Mud Island. I grew up here. I passed the screen test. I said, this is it. I'm on my way. And I usually talk about this story and tell people, hey, as luck would have it, I was looking at my bad luck. The producer of that movie died. And I'm thinking I was unlucky. That's how selfish we have gotten. Well, fast forward. I finished my master's degree. I went to America at the worst possible time when Bill Clinton became president. Not because he was president. It's just the time. Recession. And I was not the right color. I didn't speak the right way. And I was in the media and entertainment business, so there's no way I was going to get there speaking to white people predominantly in an accent that I have. Well, it was worse than this. So I had to struggle a little bit. And I say a little bit. My parents had no idea. Because like I said, I came from a privileged background. Had they known, they would have just bought the next ticket over and they say, come back home. But they had no clue. Because I went there to do something, and I wanted to continue and do it because I started something I didn't want to not finish. I had a dream and had a plan. I said, in 10 years, I'm coming back to India to run an FM radio network, which at that time was not even existent. It was just All India Radio. There was no concept of private FM stations in India. And I said, I'm going to come back and run one of them. That was it. That was the only vision, as you call it, I had. Now, how I got there, I had no clue. So I was looking for a breakthrough in that field. Maybe a TV station or a radio station, something. I wasn't getting it. What I was getting was poverty. I had no food. By the time I finished my classes, I was really lonely over there, and I did the stupidest thing ever. I got married while I was still a student. I was 24, no, 25, yeah. So I had 2 mouths to feed, no money, no legal status. So the only thing I could do was work in restaurants, clean dishes, work in construction sites with other illegal immigrants, live in a one-room home. My poor wife, I don't know what she thought she was getting into. And eventually we were both working in the same restaurant. And I'm going to tell you this story because this is about stories and how that changed my life. The moral of that will show up. I'm not going to say it. You've got to figure it out. One day I got a phone call from a guest who wanted to eat in our restaurant. It was an Indian restaurant, no surprises. We were closed the day they wanted to come. It was a Tuesday. Most restaurants are closed on Tuesdays. I heard the disappointment in their voice. I didn't know who they were. The only thing I could think about is, how can I not make them disappointed? My wife and I lived in one room, and our monthly income was about $200, out of which $150 went towards my car payment. Of course, I had a car. So I asked the lady, I said, listen, if you don't mind, I know the restaurant's closed, but my house is open. Would you like to come home and eat? I'd be happy to cook for you and show you what real Indian hospitality is like. I took that chance. I could have just walked away. Some of you would have said, sorry, come back on Wednesday. We're closed tomorrow. They were crazier, and they accepted. I'm like, wow, now what do I do? So that's why I say, be careful what you wish for. You may get it. They asked me how much I charge, and I'm like, no, Indian hospitality, we don't charge our guests. And inside I'm thinking, what are you saying, Anil? This is your weekly grocery here. But I resisted the temptation. They showed up. I didn't know who was coming home, right? It was guess who's coming for dinner kind of thing. They were a white couple, middle-aged, 2 young boys as children. And we had a great time. We cooked. We spoke about all kinds of things. I told them about my hard luck story of how I'm trying to get into the field of radio and broadcasting and television, or whatever I could get my hands on. And he was talking about how he was consulting around the world, building this, building that, and I couldn't figure out what the heck he really did. Finally, before he left, I said, listen, Arthur, his name was Arthur, what do you do? And he looked at me straight in the eye and said, Anil, I'm Arthur Holt, and I am the owner of Holt Radio Corporation, and I own 14 radio stations. What do you think was happening inside? It was like Diwali all over again. But of course, I kept my composure. I was playing it cool. I'm like, oh, that's nice to know. And then he was like, here's my card. If you need me, call me. I'm like, yeah, I'll get in touch. I was a little too proud then. I was looking in the want ads a couple of days later. Usually that's what I was doing to get myself a real job. And I found local radio station looking for entry-level, part-time, minimum wages kind of job. I'm like, I'll take it. So I went. I got hired. They said, you're overqualified, Anil. You're a master's student. I said, no, technically I haven't done my thesis. So I'm still a BA. You're hired. And I started. 3 days later, who do I see in the corridors of that radio station? Arthur Holt. He had no idea I got hired in his station. I had no idea that was his station. And all he asked me was, Anil, is this what you call karma in your culture? And that's what this story is about, is you put yourself out there. Only then will life come to you. Don't throw away some of the chances. Take a chance in life. And it was never looking back since then. I got my first break into a radio station in America, and in America I had a career, radio, television. And then I came back to India 16 years later, it wasn't 10, as the CEO of one of the private FM radio networks that was owned by India Today. It was called Meow FM. I was 5 years too late with my 10-year goal, but it was there. I made it. My co-founder of Radio Wala made it happen for me. But then that was a career. I evolved as I drove through life. I keep making driving references. And then another life event smacked me in my face. My brother, who's a neurosurgeon, saves lives every day. He's a year older than me, came asking, and we shared everything in life. He came asking, hey, listen, bhai, can I have your kidney? Because normally he just does that. He said, can I have your jeans? Can I have your t-shirt? Can I have your socks? Can I have your underwear? Sometimes girlfriend. I'm like, what? Can I have your kidney? Really? Have I come to that now? Because you don't think that something like that can happen in your home. You feel you're invincible. Things happen to somebody else. They die. They get sick. Not me. Not ours. But when it hits home, you know you're as mortal as the next person is. And all it took me was just, yeah, bhai. You know, we're dramatic. Jaan hazir hai dost. I'm like, it's only a kidney. You can have it. It was easy to say yes. This is about courage and heart, isn't it? It's my heart that said yes. But I was looking for the courage to actually do it. How many of you would give a kidney if you were asked for it? Yeah, not all the hands go up. Because why? You're afraid. Ki mera kya hoga kalya? If I give a kidney, will I live? Will I survive? But I never thought about those things. Because love was what drove me to want to have my brother right next to me, even if it was for X number of years. I didn't care what happened to me as long as we were together because we grew up together. We're practically twins. I have only less than 5 minutes to finish this up, but this is a longer story. But just know that it took a lot for me to actually give up that kidney mentally. My family took a toll where I almost got a divorce. My children came to the aid of my intent to give my kidney to my brother because this country's laws of organ donation is a little tough. My kidney, my brother, but the permission I needed was my wife's permission, without which I couldn't do it. If you want to be organ donors, you understand this, that the law of this country is such that you may want to be an organ donor, but your next of kin has the right on your body. So you signing up for organ donation is pointless. You have to make that conversation happen at home, understand, make your family understand so that they can do it for you. So the next time you start filling out a form, think twice. I'd rather you start a conversation. Speak about it at home. But my wife said, no, I'm not going to sign. It was like Diwar in the home. Darling, tu sign karegi ki nahi? So like, nahi. Because she was afraid for me. Agar tumhe kuch ho gaya to hamara kya hoga Kalia? Good fear. I said, darling, tu sign karegi ki nahi? She's like, nahi, pehle us aadmi ka sign leke aao. Jo guarantee dega tum maroge nahi. पहले उस आदमी का साइन लेके आओ, अगर तुम मर भी गए तो हमारे बच्चों का तो पालन करेगा कि नहीं? I lost that battle. I ran away from home, not because I failed an exam like most of you think about. I just failed to convince my wife that I'll be okay. And she was like, no, you won't be, because somebody told her that 1 in 3,000 people will die. And she's thinking, maybe you're number 3,000. Who's counting? So my children came, convinced the mother, saying, Mom, if I needed to give my kidney to my brother to save him, this is my daughter saying, will you not let me do that? My wife got a googly clean bowl. She was like, oh, yeah, point. Because my mother was in that situation. And she quickly signed, said, okay, Ram Bharose, let's do this. It's all done. But how do you follow through? Yes, it was done. It was just a selfish act of making my brother come alive for me. I'm not the first kidney donor, nor am I the last. But there's still 1 million people out there on dialysis who don't have a brother like me. Or maybe they do, or just not doing it. Why? And that baat khatakta tha mujhe. Now, I am in the media and entertainment field, right? We're taught on how to create propaganda, how to create mass communication, how to put ideas into people's head, fake news. We're great at that. Here's my opportunity. Can I just sit back, go back into my world, and continue living my life as my brother would, saving more lives, and just live happily ever after? Agar main wo karta, to mera pesha bura maan jati. Again, quoting from a line in a film. I wanted to make sure that there is no one else who goes into that 1 million count of dialysis patients, because that is no way for anybody you love to live attached to a machine. What can I do? Why are there family members like me not giving them that kidney? Because it's no big deal. But they were afraid ki mera kya hoga? If I gave my kidney, will I be able to live a normal life? Will I be able to live a better life in my next life? I mean, all kinds of fears. So I made it my mission in life, my purpose in life. My brother to safe ho gaya. All I had to do was go out there, use the media, use the training that I had to tell people there is nothing to fear. I put myself out there as an example. I still run the marathon today with one kidney. I'm not a complete man because I've got one kidney less. But I do everything that a 2-kidney person will do and more. So I started driving the world in my own car, and I talk to people like you. So I've driven 43 countries, as you know, 100,000 plus kilometers, over 400 days living in my car, eating in my car, just so I can talk to people like you. I'm actually in the middle of one of those journeys. I've come back just to do this talk. And in 2 weeks, I go back and I drive to Argentina. So I've spoken to 78,000 people so far, like this. You're increasing the count tonight. Also that somebody else's brother or sister or mother or auntie do not have to go into that dialysis world, so that somebody is there who says, yes, I can go give my kidney and still live a normal life. I don't know which one of you is going to have that opportunity, and I call it an opportunity to save a life. And I want you to take it. Because your life is going to be not just one. Like me, you will start living 2 lives. Mine and my brother's. Organ donation is a gift of love, not a life. We all believe that life givers are our parents. But I want you to leave this room thinking that a life giver is not just a parent. It's every one of you, because we are all going to die. Good news. The one thing we all have in common in this room, we're all going to die. The other thing we have in common is we don't know when. And the third thing we all have in common is we can all live on in someone else. So please start conversations at home. It could save a life, sometimes your own. Because the only thing that can save a person who is lost in this world is the one that finds a purpose in it. As I found mine. I am trying to tell a dying world that he still lives through our organs that will give life to somebody he cannot save. We can. Please follow my journeys on Gift of Life Adventure on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. And if you have any questions, if there's any way I can help you, in the future, I hope you never need my help. Think about me. Because I have helped some people fight cases in the court and got them transplants. Because the laws are very tough, and I'm trying to change the laws. And we're getting close. Thank you for listening, And don't forget, to start a conversation at home about organ donation. And I hope you all live long and healthy lives. The reason I talk to young people about this is not because I want your organs. It's because you have the legal right in this country to decide for your parents. And as nature should have it, they should go before you. And when they do, you're going to be called upon and asked, would you like to donate their organs? And that's the best way for you to have them live on for you. So make that choice. Thank you.